What's up, guys? Johnny here. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a little bit of a while, but I wanted to share with you guys my story about my quest to qualify for the Region 3C Multi-GP Regional Finals. For me, it all kind of started just after Flight Fest. So if you saw my Flight Fest videos, on the Sunday after Flight Fest, I wound up heading out to the QRGO qualifier, which is right by Canton, Ohio. I'd say that was probably my first big event that I was going to. I was definitely excited to be there. I felt like going to Flight Fest, getting some practice in on that course there would make me well prepared to go for QRGO, and hopefully I could earn my spot in the finals. Anyways, I was real excited, a little bit nervous maybe. One thing that did happen is when I went to Flight Fest, I was really excited to start using my Mach 1 racer. It was brand new. I figured I could get in plenty of practice at Flight Fest and I'd be all set to go for that qualifier. Unfortunately, the night before Flight Fest, I managed to fry one of my motors and actually fly the ESC on the Mach 1. I never knew you could do this, but I had the prop on the quad when it was in the bag and the prop was stuck in one position. And I tried to power it on just to change the VTX channel. And because the prop was fixed, when I tried to make the startup noise, it actually fried that motor. So never did that before. Good lesson for all you guys out there. Be a little bit careful if the props are too restricted. When you power it up, you can do a lot of damage. So anyway, all through Flight Fest, I wound up flying the X-Hover build I had, and I wound up picking up some new motors and a new ESC at Flight Fest for the Mach 1. So I switched out to the Ready-Made RC rifle motors. Really nice motors. I really like the other ones, but I could not find them at Flight Fest. So anyway, at the event when I was racing at the QRGO, I wanted to use the quad I was most familiar with, which was the X-Hover R5LX that I was racing all through Flight Fest. I did one round of the warm-ups with that. It felt pretty good, but I felt like the camera angle was too low where I wasn't getting the speed I wanted. Tried raising it up, and then when I went out for the second practice session, there was no video. The camera was just showing just black. I couldn't figure it out. Wound up switching out to my other Mach 1 build, which I hadn't really flown with yet, and just tried to make the best of it. So anyway, it wasn't my most comfortable thing, but I also didn't do too bad. I wound up not qualifying, and I feel like I kind of choked a little bit. I was doing okay. I was on an okay pace. If I could keep my pace up from my earlier laps, I would have made it, but I crashed out at the end. I wound up clipping my antenna on a gate. It broke, I lost ground, so the video signal was really poor, had a real hard time flying, wound up crashing, and the rest was history. But it was a real good learning experience for me. My first big event, get some of those nerves out of the way, so when the second one came around, hopefully I could do a little bit better. Anyway, 2 weeks later, our local Detroit chapter had their chance for a regional qualifier. Really, really cool event. We're at Maker Faire in Detroit. We had a crowd, maybe 100, 200 people there to watch us race. Really cool seeing the stands. Really cool race with all the guys I'm used to from Detroit. It was a great event. Anyway, and this time I was actually switched to yet another quad. So if you remember my X210 with my Emax motors, I raced that one that whole day. I have a lot more experience racing with that one. I felt very comfortable with that one, and I decided to go with it. Overall, the racing day was a lot of fun. I had a feeling that it was basically going to take 6 laps every time. And I was doing pretty well. I was on that pace to have 6 laps every time. But on one of my laps, the way the battery was connected, it wasn't quite tight into the drone. And as I went through a gate, the battery actually unplugged and I wound up crashing out right at the start. But I made it through that first gate, so that was a 0 for me. So the pressure was really on at the end when it came down to qualifying. And that's all right. You know, I felt like it wasn't too much stress. I wasn't too shaky. I felt like I was okay. Had a couple of rough moments, had to do some turnarounds, but I got through. I got my 6 laps, and I earned my spot to the Region 3C Finals, and I am super excited about that.
Johnny E-Fly is 5th place. All right, the man. No, he did not win that camera. All right. Thank you very much, sir. Good job.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We got a new toy for you to play with.
Hey, these are good prizes.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man.
I should have got in there.
So anyway, we got a few weeks until those finals come up. I need to get my practice in. I've been starting to use Velocidrone as a flight simulator a lot, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Definitely look for a full video coming out on that. but I'm really attacking that regional finals course, trying to get some familiarity. I'd much rather fly a real quad and fly it through a real course, but you know, in the meantime, having it in the simulator where it's the actual course is really nice, and it's a nice thing to fall back on. Anyway, so what else am I doing these 3 weeks? I'm trying to get out there, I'm trying to fly, I'm trying to set up just a few gates. Some of the local guys are trying to set together a imitation course that will be the real regional finals. We can practice on that. But overall, I'm just really excited to be part of this event. I can't wait till all the pilots come in from the region. Get to meet a few guys that I'm really excited to meet. Like, I'm really excited to see RC Addict. I think he's a really cool guy. He's been real supportive of my channel. Really cool guy to interact with, and he should be coming out to the event, and I'm super stoked about that. Really look forward to flying with him and a bunch of other really talented pilots. And the way I look at it is I have nothing to lose. My goal for this year was to see if I could make it to the qualifiers, and for someone who just started flying in November, I'm really proud of that accomplishment, and anything I can do in the finals is gravy. If I come in last, that's totally fine. I figure just give it my all, try to go as fast as I can, and we'll see what happens. So really looking forward to it. Can't wait to share with you guys what ends up happening there. In the meantime, I'm going to get to practicing and make sure I get lots of time to practice until that event, until the big day, and I'm just pumped. So wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully you guys are excited for me too. I'm really pumped. Hopefully lots of you guys are competing in the regional finals, and if you're in this region, can't wait to meet you, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace!